previous videos, we introduced functional structure and grammatical relations. So far, we have been using a label to track which functional structure is linked to which word, but there is actually a special attribute for that in LFG. That attribute is called pred. The value of pred is called a semantic form, and it is written as a gloss of the word's meaning in single quotes. The semantic form of a verb has additional information in angled brackets that allows us to match the predicate with its arguments. The basic idea is that the number of arguments allowed in a sentence largely depends on the semantics of the verb. Kim sat with just a subject is a good sentence, but if we try to add an object, Kim sat those books, there seems to be something wrong with the sentence. The verb select works with both a subject and object. Kim selected those books. But if we try this verb without an object, we find that it doesn't seem correct. Other verbs like the verb give allow a third argument. Kim gave them those books. The idea that the verb controls how many arguments can appear is formalized in the value of pred. After the gloss, there's a list of grammatical relations written in angled brackets. These represent the arguments required by the verb. This list is called a subcategorization frame. If a functional structure is missing a grammatical relation required by the subcategorization frame, then it is said to be incomplete, or it does not comply with the constraint of completeness. If a functional structure has a grammatical relation that does not appear in the subcategorization frame, then it is said to be incoherent, or it does not comply with the constraint of coherence. Note that not all grammatical relations are included in completeness and coherence constraints. For example, adjuncts are not selected by verbs and can be added or omitted freely to any verb, as in the functional structure for the sentence, Kim read those books quickly. However, even setting aside adjuncts, verbs do not always appear with the same grammatical relations. Another way that verbs vary is through morphological processes, including the well-known passive alternation. In this example, there is an active form, Kim read those books, in which the subject is the reader and the object is the thing being read. Then there's also a passive form, those books were read by Kim, where the subject is the thing being read and the reader, Kim, is an oblique phrase. In LFGs, it is assumed that this alternation is a change to the verb's lexical entry. You may remember from the first video that we are assuming a basic distinction between lexicon and syntax. When this change is made in the lexicon, the result is a different subcategorization frame in the value of pred, one which links the agent or reader to an oblique grammatical relation and the thing being read to a subject. We end up with a functional structure that requires a different set of grammatical relations. More recent work in LFG has proposed other formalisms for handling argument selection and optionality, but the basic idea has remained the same, that these patterns are part of the meaning of the predicate and should be modeled in the lexicon. In the next video, we will look at another complexity in argument selection, when one argument seems to be shared by two predicates.